much for joining me for Talk Pittsburgh. Yes, I am alone. Mikey is off for a couple of days, but don't worry. We've got some great guests coming up this Monday and a lot to talk about, including those songs we heard growing up that just seem to hit a little harder than anything on the radio today. Learn exactly why your brain still craves the classic soundtrack to your life. Plus, we know St. Patrick's Day is just around the corner, but today we're learning about St. Baldrick. He doesn't really exist. It's a mashup of St. Patrick and bald. We're learning why people are voluntarily shaving their heads all around town. And Robinson has it, Springdale is getting one, and Beaver Valley's called a hub. In today's Table Talk, we're digging into data centers. They are popping up everywhere. So what's the downside to these massive storage containers? That and so much more coming up this hour. First, Pittsburgh, let's get you caught up from the weekend and today in your bird's eye view, your hometown headlines in under 90 seconds.
It's weird getting back in the routine of things on a Monday morning. Maybe it's happening for you at home too. And we have really weird weather to talk about.
Oh, it's so weird.
I mean, rain, wind, and snow by the end of the day.
Oh yeah, snow by the end, not even by the end of the day. I mean, we're talking about the afternoon hours.
Opening day is just 11 days away. Connor Griffin is still hanging around and putting pressure on the front office about where he should start this season.
Leaders in Irwin are looking for a way around a bridge that's now closed.
The study will look at a 1.5-mile detour between North Huntington and Irwin. The bridge was shut down earlier this year after a hole was discovered in the deck, raising concerns. Today, Duquesne University cuts the ribbon on its new mechanical engineering lab.
It's inside Fisher Hall. The space features new high-tech equipment, including robotic systems, which the university says will give students experience with automation, controls, and smart manufacturing.
The new lab sounds amazing, and just another way Pittsburgh is showing off our tech advances. But that's not the only way. The latest phrase that's been popping up: data centers. And if you're like me and so many out there, you may have heard about them, but maybe aren't sure what they are, why we need them, and why so many communities are pushing back against getting one. We wanted to bring in KDK investigative producer Tori Rogursky for this very important conversation this afternoon. Tori, thank you so much for being here for this.
Thank you.
And I think it's a really interesting conversation too, because I've seen the headlines, they are popping up everywhere. And I don't know, first of all, what they even are and why we need them.
So data centers, to be clear, are not new.
Okay.
They've been around basically since the invention of the internet, because that's where the internet is. They are storage facilities for computing equipment. We're talking about servers, networking equipment, the stuff that is the backbone of the internet. And in the modern age, what we're talking about now are AI data centers, where that equipment exists to fuel artificial intelligence.
So prior to AI becoming more widely used and popular, was this kind of like what the cloud was, where we couldn't put, is this the cloud?
Yes, this is the cloud.
Okay, all right. That's
now
good.
you know where the cloud is. It lives in a big box somewhere in rural Pennsylvania.
Okay, so out of all the headlines, the one that caught my attention, it was something, and it was trying to be clever, I think kind of like Gen Z slang, saying, why are data centers so thirsty? And if you know, thirsty can mean something entirely different for Gen Z slang, but apparently they take a lot of water.
They do, and it's because computer equipment, it's really hot. I mean, just think about your laptop or your desktop. Like when you're doing a lot of stuff, it starts to get physically hot and they need to be cooled down. And in your desktop or laptop, that's a little fan. But when we're talking about acres and acres of computer equipment, it's liquid cooling. So it uses water to do that, and it does consume a lot of water. When you're talking to ChatGPT for like half an hour, that ends up consuming about the equivalent of a single water bottle. And for one person, yeah, I know, right? And one person's like, oh, a water bottle, I talked to it for 15 minutes today, whatever. But it's
when you talk about
scale,
everybody across the world using AI in some capacity, it's using up a lot of water.
And it's not just water, these things have a huge climate impact in terms of also energy generation, and we've talked a lot about that.
Yeah, well, tell me about that too, because obviously you're going to pull in a lot of energy to keep these things up and running. It takes a lot. But what does that look like for a community?
So for a community, it takes about 1 gigabyte of power to run 140,000 homes. So just have that number in your head. We're talking about data centers that are being scaled up. They're called hyperscale, that take 2 to 3 gigabytes of power, gigawatts, totally different measurement. So
gigawatts of power.
Gigawatt, yeah. So that's the size of a large city, basically.
Yeah.
More power than Allegheny County consumes.
So what is the issue or the concern with something like this? That could it cause shortages? Could it cause brownouts? Could it cause, like, what are we talking here?
We're talking about pressure on the grid. We're talking about big energy sinks, big energy usages that in times of especially severe weather or where there's already going to be pressure on the grid, like during windstorms or when DLC is out putting power lines back up, these are big energy consumers, and 30% of the energy usage going to one single hyperscale data center is a lot.
So I do feel like, as they are not new, but they're newer now that we have, and we're seeing more of them. Why is that, though, that we're seeing them pop up in communities close to home? I feel like, we've heard of a couple of them coming locally. I've heard of more even being proposed for new communities. Why do we need so many of them?
Artificial intelligence. It's the AI revolution, and we're in an era of distinct technological change, and we are looking at major investments in what could be the next big thing, what investors hope are the next big thing, what communities hope are the next big thing. And AI is having a massive impact on the world, but we're still having a lot of questions about like where that impact is going, whether it's going to be generative AI or other kinds of things. And this is what is needed to run artificial intelligence. You need massive compute power.
So I know a lot of people are anxious and they want more answers to some of their questions if it is in fact coming to their community. But there are also some other people who are excited about the prospect of new jobs too, permanent jobs. Is that something that could be happening with some of these facilities?
So these are job creators. We're talking about when they're built, like 1,000 to 2,000 construction jobs for a large scale facility like in Homer City or in Beaver County. But those are contract jobs. Those are
So
1 to 2 years.
Permanent.
Right. And that's one of the struggles of data centers is they do have an economic impact, but it is a little more nebulous because it is like physically present on the site. We're talking about like 1 to 2 dozen people, technicians, people running the actual facility. But data centers, again, are fueling the AI revolution. What's that going to mean for the economy? What's that going to mean for job creation? What's that going to mean for the jobs of the future?
Right.
And how do we scale that up? So it's a little more up in the air about permanent jobs.
It's really interesting. And again, we're seeing it happen right in our own backyard. So I'm glad that we could have this conversation today.
Happy to talk about it.
Tori, thank you so much. And before we head to break, we do want to touch on a couple of Oscar winners last night, starting with All the Empty Rooms, which won for documentary short film. It follows CBS journalist Steve Hartman as he visited the bedrooms of children lost to gun violence. And what you're seeing right now is when we actually got a chance to talk with him back in December about the film. He shared their stories so beautifully, and if you want to watch this, it is available on Netflix. Also, big congratulations to a Beaver County native, Joe Lettieri, and he is from Center Township, won his 5th Oscar last night. He won the Best Visual Effect Award for Avatar, Fire and Ash. Previously, he has won for the original Avatar movie, as well as King Kong and 2 movies in the Lord of the Rings franchise. Very cool to know that he is from our hometown. Still to come on Talk Pittsburgh, a meteorologist-approved science experiment you can do at home with your kids. Oh, and today may be the day. We know a lot of kiddos are home. Schools are dealing with all the aftermaths of the storm. We have a power outage. Ray has your cure for cabin fever. That's ahead. And we are keeping the family-friendly vibes going with a free event at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History, taking you back to the sights and sounds of early life on Earth. But first, one for the adults. Guinness is already a St. Patrick's Day classic, but we're putting some unexpectedly sweet spins on that famous stout. It may just change the way you enjoy your next pint. That's next. Plus, we are also revealing the rest of our Wing and Ding Saucy 16 bracket voted on by you. Talk Pittsburgh, we'll be right back. The Ultimate Wing Showdown has officially begun. This morning on PTL, we unveiled half of our Wing and Ding bracket. And now it's time for the Talk Pittsburgh side of things. We have Goated Wings versus Wing Suds and Spuds, the Barn and Barrel versus Mulligan's Sports Bar and Grill, Dale's Place versus Dino's Sports Lounge, and Inferno Pizza versus Big Shot Bob's House of Wings. I cannot wait to see who comes out on top on there. And here's a full look at the Saucy 16 bracket. On the PTL side, there's Bar 48, Wiggy's, the Steel Plate, the Pike Bar and Grill, 12 Whiskey Barbecue, Archie's, Lucky's Bar and Grill, and EB Wings. So who will make it to the next round? We have a brand new post on Facebook right now where you can vote on which 8 restaurants will move forward. We're calling it 8 the Whole Plate 8. So get your votes in by Friday. The next announcement is Monday, March 23rd. 'Twas the night before St. Paddy's Day, and all through the town, Yinzers were wondering what drinks they'd be pouring down. Luckily, we've got a little Irish inspo coming your way. The Low Bar ladies have come to say, hey, Although I don't think that that's Irish.
Thank you.
So, hey is probably not Irish, but I am very excited to see you both. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, so we're gonna do 2 different Guinness drinks. Getting ready for St. Patrick's Day,
Which is tomorrow. I know a lot of people celebrate it on Saturday. That's like when we celebrate, but a lot of people will also take in some celebrations tomorrow as well. So
Yeah, we're Pittsburghers. Any reason to start drinking in the morning
It's
or
like almost
have
like a
Guinness.
week-long holiday.
it's
Yeah.
a week-long holiday. So we're doing a little breakfast and a little dessert. So tell us what we're making first.
Exactly. So we found this recipe called a Turbo Guinness, and it's a Guinness with a shot of espresso in it.
Okay, good.
And
Let's
so-
amp things up a little bit.
Yeah, so we went to the Yin's Coffee here in the building and got ourselves a double shot of espresso this morning, let it cool down a bit, and then you're gonna top it. And see, I was always taught to pour my Guinness directly
Straight
upside down.
Yes. And isn't there something to Guinness? Like, don't you have to, if you're pouring it maybe from the tap?
If you're
is
pouring
it-
it from a draft, you should
Let
fill
it-
it halfway up, let it
sit.
settle, and then finish pouring.
Is it like a full 5-minute ordeal or something
There's
like that?
some rule
Yes,
like that
right?
that I'm not sure of, but I've always been a bartender in a very high-paced environment
Yeah,
where
we
it's
don't
like
have time
no
like
time
that.
for waiting,
Right.
babe.
And so that's it. It's just a shot of espresso and your Guinness.
Totally.
Yep.
So I say move over vodka Red Bull.
Yeah, much more.
Now
delicious.
we have a
We're
Guinness
adults here.
with espresso in it to get
Well,
your day started.
Top of the morning to you, I guess we would say. Here we go.
Okay.
Sláinte. That is, woo! That'll wake you up. I am ready for St. Patty's Day. And what is this next one?
Our
we're making?
next one, we have a special one. My favorite bartender locally who works the day shift at my local bar is an incredible baker, Nigel. And so she makes ice cream now too. And she was like, would you like to try some? And I was like, yes, would you make me one for St. Patty's Day? So she made this ice cream and it is bourbon, brown sugar, and honey. It's so good. I was like, this is perfect for a Guinness float. And honestly, this is my favorite way to drink a Guinness. And she also supplied us with some fabulous little Lucky
marshmallow-
Charms,
Lucky
you
Charm
know.
marshmallows.
Why not garnish your...
This is amazing. I kind of want to try the ice cream on its own.
You
but-
should. There's a little
Okay,
bit
let's
left.
do that
It's
first.
so good.
Okay, little nib. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. isn't
And
that
what was
good?
the flavor again?
It's bourbon, brown sugar, and honey.
Okay, here we go. Okay, this is it.
Yeah,
This is it
isn't
for me.
that great?
I feel
love
like
it.
an adult kid.
Yeah, I love
It's hitting
a Guinness
all of the
float.
things.
They're
That is
really
amazing.
delicious.
Both of these are really good. I feel like this, you can get the coffee, even though it's just a shot of espresso, you still get that. And with this, the ice cream, just hits different.
It's like a boozy milkshake, but with a little fuzz in there, you know?
Well, thank you so much.
Cheers.
Happy St. Patty's Day. We are going to have these drink recipes as well as a link to book Low Bar on our website. Go to kdka.com/talkpittsburgh. Next on the show, Mary is here with a look at this week's forecast. I know the parade was on Saturday, but this is good, Mary.
I know, it looks delicious. Now, as we head into today, we are in for a weather whiplash. We have rain, we have snow. So what does that mean for your plans? Well, I'll have your forecast by the hours when we come back.
Welcome back. And Mary Hours is here now with this week's forecast by the hours. I don't know, Mary. It feels like everything is just a little wacky.
I know, it's so wacky. It is. It's like a March Madness for weather.
I'm telling you, you don't know what you're going to get on any given day.
I can't keep up.
So Mike wants to start first, spending time with some family on Monday. So today.
Yeah, they're coming in from Toledo, I believe. So his grandkids will be here, but unfortunately, you're not going to want to go out to the parks tonight.
Yeah.
No chance. Stay inside. It's going to be
Look at this.
windy. We have then rain switching to snow here through the evening. So yeah, it's going to be it's going to be different. I mean, we've had snow in March, right? Yes.
Right, of course.
But when we come off of a 70-degree day, it is a shock to the system because the kids are confused. They're like, wait, but I just wore shorts yesterday. I mean, Wally wore shorts this morning too. But then when you're going out later, you're like, what is this coming from the sky? What is happening?
It's so funny because Lila actually said something to me. She said, tomorrow's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
She said, it's going to start off warm, and then it's going to rain, and then it's going to snow. And I was like,
Yes.
yeah, you're right. We're getting everything.
Yeah,
tomorrow."
everything. This is typical PA weather, right?
Brian is flying out to Jacksonville Tuesday morning, wants to know how things will look for his flight.
Yeah, so tomorrow morning, I'm thinking, I'm not a big flyer, but I know that they have to de-ice.
Okay.
So with temperatures tomorrow morning, right around those 20s and a few flakes, de-icing. I'm even thinking there may be some school delays tomorrow just because of some icy roadways. roadways.
Okay.
So low 20s, and we don't really get past that freezing mark too, so that's going to be a problem. So even if your flight does get delayed, even into the afternoon, upper 20s, some flurries, maybe a little bit slick. So it may take a little bit of time. I would just keep an eye on those flights.
Okay, keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
And then, of course, St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow. So anyone who's celebrating, they're going out to dinner or trying to do something.
Bundle up.
Looks that way.
Bundle up. I mean, literally, our temperatures are into the upper 20s. The snow showers do taper off, but this is below where our actual low temperatures should be this time of the year.
Yeah.
So these are our highs. I mean, this is where
wild.
this is it. That's it for tomorrow. We're in the upper 20s. It's going to be cold, below freezing. So it's going to be one of those situations too where sidewalks may be icy because things are refreezing. You're going to have a little bit of that snow. Not a lot of accumulation. I mean, areas east into the Laurel Highlands and Ridges, you're going to get a good bit of snow. But here in Pittsburgh, it's mostly going to be wet and then a little bit icy.
You mentioned the wind that we're seeing today.
Yeah.
When does that die off? Because I think a lot of people are ready for that to stop.
It does diminish for tomorrow, so
Okay.
it'll calm down. It'll gradually calm down tonight, but yeah, it's been very, very windy.
Very windy of late.
Can't sleep.
And then Ronald is asking for a 3-day fishing forecast. I don't know if he's going fishing for 3 days or trying to pick the best of the 3.
He wants the trout fish.
Okay.
So, good news, temperatures warm back up.
What is going on?
So this is through Friday. So if you're going to go Wednesday, it's still a little bit below average. We should normally be in the mid 40s, but then our temperatures are getting back into those mid 50s on Thursday. We'll actually even see our low temperatures improve. Now with cloudy skies, you may get a little bit of drizzle here or there, but I do ultimately think once we get to those mid 50s, we're finally going to be like, finally, we're out of the woods with this. And then we're back to 60 degrees on Friday. So we finally start to see things warming up. We are in for the end of the month, kind of trending above average. So right now we're like in that mix of cold mornings, starting to try to warm back up, recovering from tomorrow.
Well, you know, I don't know if this is good or bad. I feel like it's a bad thing, but I'm starting to see things bud a little bit on the plants outside, and I'm so worried that we're going to see some cold coming back in, like we will tomorrow, and some of that dying off.
Fake flowers.
That's what you...
That's your
Mary
answer.
said just don't plant real things. Just buy your fake flowers. You don't have to worry
Listen,
about
you'll be proud of me. I do have a snake plant that every year when my kids were in preschool, their preschool gives everyone a snake plant from their big snake plant. I have it in the playroom right by the windowsill. It hasn't died.
See? We got one real plant.
It's in a styrofoam cup and I water it, and it's still going strong.
I just bought a ton of zinnia seeds, and I'm just thinking, I gotta wait. I feel like we're gonna have one of those years again where it snows in May.
Yeah, wait. Just
gonna wait. All right, Mary, thank you. Well, today we are getting scientific with a quick at-home demo you can do with your kids, showing inertia in action. Here's meteorologist Ray Petlin.
That's so cool.
One of my favorite things about physics is the result that seemingly makes the most sense isn't always the result you get. And one of those physical properties that gives you sometimes these weird results is inertia. Inertia is the tendency of an object to maintain its state of motion or lack of motion unless it is acted upon by external forces. You may have heard this stated as one of Sir Isaac Newton's laws of motion. More specifically, that an object at rest remains at rest, and an object in motion remains in motion at a constant speed and in a straight line unless it is acted on by an unbalanced force. Now that the learning part's out of the way, let's get into the experiment. And for this, you're going to need a wooden dowel, a hammer or mallet, and since most people think of Sir Isaac Newton getting hit in the head with an apple, we're going to use one of those too. The setup for this experiment is very simple. Just stick the dowel through the apple, hold it vertically, and tap one end of that stick with a hammer. Now, what do you think is going to happen here? Do you think the apple is going to move down the dowel? Will it move up? Will it fall off? Or will nothing happen? Do you have your answer locked in? I gave you a hint at the beginning saying that sometimes things do the opposite of what seems normal when it comes to physics. When you hit the dowel, the apple moves higher and higher with every tap. And this is where the apple's inertia comes into play. Since the apple is in a state of rest, it wants to stay that way. The apple also has more mass than the wooden dowel, so it takes more force and energy to move it. When you tap the dowel, it is forced downward, but the apple wants to stay in place because, you know, inertia.
While it looks like the apple is moving upward, you're actually pounding the stick farther and farther through the apple while the apple is trying to stay put. Eventually, you run out of space on the wooden dowel, finishing this experiment off. So the next time you're in a state of rest and you want to stay that way, just blame inertia. Reporting from home, I'm meteorologist Ray Petlin.
Love those segments. Still to come on Talk Pittsburgh, name that tune. If the song was a soundtrack to your high school years, chances are you can name that tune and sing every word. I mean, just try to get a word of Warren G's Regulate Past Me. You can't, and there's a reason for it. And do you know what dinosaurs sounded like? Boaz is in Oakland getting some answers. And what are you learning, Boaz?
Well, it is a hotly debated topic, but you can learn all about it this weekend. There's a very cool event at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. I'm going to tell you all about it right after the break.
If a frog croaks in Borneo, does it make a sound? That's one of the questions you can answer this weekend at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History's annual Nature Fest. This year's event is all about the sounds of the natural world. Boaz is in Oakland right now for a sneak peek. So Boaz, what's a Bornean frog sound like?
I'm glad you asked, Heather. I'll do my best impression. Or something like that. But it's very exciting. Nature Fest is all about the sounds of nature. This year I'm here with Sarah from the museum. And I know you have a toddler at home, so you're probably really good at making animal sounds.
Oh, yeah, but I can't identify what frog you were.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Either. But if you were interested, there is like a whole lecture on frogs from Borneo.
Yeah, well, so we actually will have a scientist that works in Borneo recording frog sounds here, talking to visitors. So she'll be at a table, actually interacting with people. So not a lecture, but even better, you get to talk to her personally.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So the whole museum is celebrating. There are going to be hands-on activities all over.
Yep.
And so give me sort of an overview of the day.
Yeah, so the museum is open, our usual hours 10 to 5, and this event is free with admission. So it's our second annual Nature Fest, and this time we're all about sounds. And so you can walk through our galleries and learn about dino sounds, bird sounds, frog sounds, so much. And the whole day will be fun and lots of people to talk to.
Yeah, well, we've got a lot of bird nerds, as we call ourselves, on the Talk Pittsburgh crew. And so I know we have some birds over here, so let's check in over here.
Okay, so one of the things that you get to do is we have an activity where you are matching the bird sonograms to the ones here, and you try to figure out which one is right. So I'm going to play the first one.
Here, I can try to get my mic close so you can hear this bird.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So now,
I think it just keeps going.
Well, we want to hear this bird for the rest of our lives. It's gorgeous.
I do not.
And so we have to. So it's one of these birds right here. Okay, we're going to give you 5 seconds at home to guess. Is it the red-winged blackbird? Is it the eastern screech owl? Or is it the ruffed grouse back here? If you guessed red-winged blackbird, you were right.
You are right. That's right.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of fun interactive games. You could sort of match the bird with the sounds and also see what like an audio waveform looks like.
Exactly. And then also we're doing a sound scavenger hunt in the diorama hall. So in our African mammals, you can listen to the sounds and try to identify which animal is making what sound. So a lot to do, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We also have a yoga activity that you can do. And then at 1 p.m. we have the Council of the Three Rivers American Indian Center doing a dance demonstration.
Wow.
Yeah. So 1 p.m. come for that. I think it's going to be one of the highlights of the day.
And also, you talk about audio in ways you don't think about, like the way bees use sound. And I wonder if you could show us this little demo over here. It's so cool.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. Okay, so something I didn't know about bees until recently, and this is going to be a loud sound, is they can flap their wings at such a high vibration that it kind of rattles pollen in certain flowers loose. Okay, here we go. You see how that makes the little mock pollen work? I'm going to try it one more time.
Yeah.
See, one fell off the table.
And here are actual little bees over here. So they're like moving their little wings in a way to like knock the pollen loose.
Exactly. And they're actually some of the best pollinators of eggplants, blueberries, and tomatoes. So a lot for people to see in our botany hall as well.
Yeah. And so for folks wondering, what sound did a dinosaur make? Do we have any idea?
Well, You know, there is actually a recent discovery of an ankylosaurus with a voice box intact.
Whoa.
Yes, and so that gave us a clue. And so, but to get the actual information, you're going to have to come down to the museum and talk to some of the experts. But it's
and
going to be.
You'll have plenty of experts
we'll
here.
Have plenty of experts. As you know, we have dinosaur experts, we have bee experts, we have botany experts. And we'll also have our visible lab open in our Stories We Keep exhibition. And you can come see people that are studying frog calls and talk to them personally. So
cool.
Yeah, we also, summer camps are going on right now. We're doing registration. So we'll have people talking about all you can do over the summer.
Very cool.
As a kid.
It's never too early for that. Okay, well, Heather, I know you're a big bird fan, so we have a challenge for you over here. I'm just trying to. Can you identify this bird?
Oh gosh. Okay, wait, hold on. The screen is so. It's a woodpecker. It's the red. It's not a red-bellied woodpecker, is it? No. Am I wrong? No.
Starts with a P. Starts with a P.
I don't know. I know it's a woodpecker. I just don't.
It's a pileated woodpecker.
Thank you. Scott is very disappointed. Are you disappointed in me, Scott? I know he's behind the camera. It's okay. Shake your head.
Yeah,
yes.
I just saw a lone tear come down his cheek.
I know. I'm not lying, Boaz. We were out the other day, and he's just walking. And he goes, "Oh, and he names like 3 different birds. He could just spot them.
He's good.
He's on to it. Thank you very much, Boaz. Sounds like so much fun. Nature Fest, if you want to check it out, is this Saturday from 10 to 5. We have more information on our website. Ahead on Talk Pittsburgh, we've got some good news to share today, including cheap baseball tickets and a local film receiving a national award. Those stories when we return. Welcome back to Talk Pittsburgh, and thank you for spending your afternoon with us. Ahead this half hour, it seems like songs from yesteryear seem to live rent-free in our heads, why certain music never really leaves us. And it's a party with a big impact, how you can help raise money to help children who are fighting cancer. First, let's get into some good news that has us talking today. In case you missed it, local filmmaker Ime Alaquiva won big at the NAACP Image Awards. His film, The Ebony Canal, that we featured here on Talk Pittsburgh, won for Outstanding Short-Form Documentary. And Viola Davis, who narrated the film, received the Chairman's Award honoring her career. We want to say congratulations to Ime and everyone who worked in the film. You're making Pittsburgh so very proud. And baseball fans, if you like a deal, we've got a great one for you. The Washington Wild Things are bringing back 250 Tuesdays. On 5 Tuesdays during the season, fans can take advantage of tickets, parking, and concessions, all priced at $2.50. Tickets are on sale right now. And a new downtown restaurant is helping you give back to your neighbors. The Common Good recently opened in downtown's Union Trust building for breakfast and lunch, serving a deviled egg salad sandwich, cakes in a can, and so much more. You can round up your purchase and donate meals directly to those in need right here in the city. Pittsburgh Magazine just did a write-up on the new spot. We'll link you up to that on our website. Courage, compassion, and a lot of celebrating. The 2nd annual Bald of the Ball is this weekend, benefiting children diagnosed with cancer. Joining me today, we have Brandy Wank, the creator of this event, and David Misenda, last year's honoree. We're so happy to have you both here today to share a little bit more about this. And Brandy, you actually shaved your head last year. How empowering was it for this event that you helped organize?
I did shave my head years and years after shaving everybody else's head. I was very inspired. So it was great. I honestly, and this is a conflict of interest, have not touched my hair for a year. This is
Just let it grow out. It looks really good. Why did you said you were shaving other people's heads for years and years. So why did you want to start the Bald of the Ball?
I just always said I was going to do something bigger for St. Baldrick's, and last year was a big birthday for me. So instead of going on vacation or having a party, people asked what you're going to do, and I said, you're going to buy a ticket to my ball.
We're having a big party, and we're going to help people.
Yes.
And David, I understand that you're actually shaving your head this year.
Right, it'll be the 3rd year in a row I've done this.
And tell me a little bit more about why, because when you started, your daughter, that's how you got involved, was because of your daughter, is that right?
Right, our late 6-year-old daughter, Bridget, who conveniently has a great Irish name, back in 2020 got her first cancer diagnosis. Then we actually went to see St. Baldrick's the 1 year because one of her oncologists, he actually was there as a shavee. And then she got her second one, and I've now done it for 3 years, and I hope no parent It has to go through what my wife and I have gone through, our 10-year-old daughter, or that any other kid has to go through what that time for Bridget was.
Yeah, and for you to get involved in this event, I mean, it's really to help bring awareness to what's going on for so many families. I mean, I know it can be very difficult. You feel like you're going through this, but you still have to go to work. You still have to show up. You still have to be there for your other children.
Exactly. And the whole point is also to go and try and be an advocate, because unfortunately we never planned this when we decided we were going to have children, and that's the journey we're on, and that's the journey we will keep being on.
And so you said, you know what, in her memory and to help others, I'm going to shave my head this year.
Exactly, yes.
You're going to keep doing it. Explain, Brandy, what this event is all about. This is the second year you're doing it, and it's a big party, but again, we're hearing stories like David's and what his family went through. So there's a lot of heartwarming, heart-touching moments that happen too.
Yes, it's a little bit of both. Our slogan is, we boldly dare where few parties dare to go. So it's a fun time, but at the same time, it's a huge impact for St. Baldrick's and people who are fighting with children who do have childhood cancer.
Yeah. And what can people expect this year? What kind of shindig are you going to have
Right.
this year?
Well, there's always a cocktail hour. We have bagpipes, the Pittsburgh Irish, I think, firefighter, bagpipes and pipe band. And then we'll have Chinese auction, silent auction. We'll have dancing, downtown DJs, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. David, what does it mean to you to know that there's an organization out there that's helping in this way, and again, with the advocacy of it all?
I mean, I think it's actually a great organization. After going through everything with Bridget, having her on an experimental chemo drug at one point, there is not a lot of national funding for pediatric cancer.
Right.
And almost all the proceeds that St. Baldrick's does raise, it ends up being fruitful. There are new chemo medicines that, or other alternatives that can go and help try and cure kids and make their lives be fruitful.
And can you tell us a little bit more, Brandy, about that part of this? How will the money raised from this event?
It all goes through St. Baldrick's and somehow ends up in Pittsburgh because we have the Children's Hospital, but it's all for funding and research for childhood cancer.
Well,
yes.
Thank you both for being here, telling us more about it. David, our hearts go out to you and your family. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your journey.
Yep.
Thank you for being here. And the Bald of the Ball is Saturday evening at the Sheraton at Station Square. We will have a link to tickets and more information at kdka.com/talkpittsburgh. And still to come on the show, we are checking in with Christine Sorensen in the newsroom for your first look at the KDKA Evening News. Plus, a certain song can come on and suddenly you are back in a completely different chapter of your life. Dr. Katie will tell us why music and memory go hand in hand. That's coming up after the break. Music is kind of like a time machine. You hear the right song and suddenly you're not in 2026 anymore. You're back in high school, having a sleepover with your cousins or driving around with your friends, singing at the top of your lungs. It's amazing how just a few notes can unlock an entire moment in our lives. Take a look at the video we found online. Two brothers surprising their grandmother with a song that meant everything to her and her late husband.
Dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way.
Oh, that was Moon River, which was the song she and her husband danced to on their wedding night. You could see her almost being transported right back to that moment in time. So what is it about music that connects us so deeply with our memories and emotions? Dr. Katie Stewart is here to explain the fascinating connection between music and the mind. Oh my gosh, we're like teary-eyed watching that.
I don't know if I can talk, but I'll try.
I know. Well, it's so incredible to be able to see that connection and right there see it in real time. So what makes music so deeply human and deeply connecting?
Oh gosh, I mean, music might be my first love, so I'm really glad we're talking about this today. But there is no known human culture that doesn't have something that we would call music. And if you think about it, there is music in nature, right? Like birds, we call it bird song.
Right.
They sing, but it's very purposeful. That is to convey information to potential mates or rivals. Humans, as far as we know, are the only species that make music just because Just because of the joy it brings
you
us.
get out of it.
Yeah.
It's like so much about art that we experience and enjoy is that it's simply because we need that somehow.
We need it and we feel it. I mean,
Right.
you can see people sometimes get goosebumps. They get the chills just listening to a certain melody or a rhythm, and it just affects us in ways that like words can't.
So is there a reason why, if we think back to high school, I mean, I joked earlier, but it is very true. Regulate by word. Like I could sing it right now.
I won't bust out Alanis, but I could.
So why is it that these songs had such an impression on us and we're able to remember the lyrics, every single word of these songs from when we're like 10 to 20?
Yeah, well, it's actually fairly complicated. So what you're talking about is, well, we're gonna start with one thing and go through like 5 other things. So that's called the reminiscence bump. We are most likely to remember music from our adolescence. That is true across ages and across cultures. But it has a lot to do with how music and the brain kind of work together. And it starts with language. Babies react first to the sounds that are the musical features of their native language. And that kind of draws them in. And then it starts to separate as we get older. Then there's learning and reward. So the same ancient brain structures, the reward centers that, were in like reptilian brains, same ones that get activated with food, with sex, with drugs, get activated by music.
Get out.
Yeah, so researchers looked at this and they were like, okay, so how does this make sense? That makes it seem like it's there for survival, right? And it has to do with learning. The brain enjoys getting this rush when we get something right, and music has the perfect combination of predictability and surprise. Because if you think about it, the best songs, you're going along and you think you know what's coming, and then the rhythm changes or a chord progression resolves another way. So in addition to that ancient reward structure, music that we've chosen, it activates that more deeply and also activates what's called our medial prefrontal cortex, which is where things get activated when we look at our internal goals, our values, and our sense of agency.
Well, I was going to ask you about identity with all of this and music, and this seems like that's kind of where it's all happening.
This is it. That's what makes it feel like ours. And then, when we're adolescents, according to developmental psychology, our most important job is identity development.
Are you saying that I'm a rapper?
I'm saying that you develop that. Yeah, but what's interesting is that's when that same part of the brain comes online. Right. So it's all connected, and it feels like this is me.
Yeah. It's true, and I've seen a lot of people comment and talk about this before, where you would be okay listening to the songs that you grew up listening to than anything new.
Absolutely. You give me those strong women from the 90s,
oh my gosh.
some Alanis Morissette, I'm in. That's all I need.
So why is it, I mean, is this something where we could develop kind of more of that? I mean, it's much like how we learn as little kids. Our brains are like sponges, and we can soak up language and music, and we're learning all of these things, and then it feels like, again, we're set in our ways at some point.
Right. So, I mean, I think it does feel like we're set in our ways, but it's also just how we go back, right? We call it the reminiscence bump. That's such a fun time, but it is so formative. Like, as I'm talking, I'm thinking about my dad with Motown.
Yes,
you know, like that was his favorite thing. And so, I mean, if you think about it, how could we use this with mood? Play some songs from your adolescence. I mean, I might get a little angsty, but it could also be energetic. But what's interesting is when we also, just thinking about music and memory, not our favorite songs, different types of music bring up different types of memories. So, do you know Debussy's Clair de Lune?
Yeah.
Right? That, songs like that will bring up really vivid, deeply personal, emotional memories, like maybe ones involving romance. Then, say, Dove's Cry, that, anything kind of energetic, brings up more social and exciting memories.
Well, and I'm even thinking, I know we've talked about this, David Highfield did a piece about this with his mom who was suffering with Alzheimer's at the time, and how important music was, and even helping to bring back that happiness and joy. She may not have been fully present, but it still can do so much.
It can. Actually, Gabby Giffords, do you remember when she was shot, they used music to help bring back her language?
Wow.
Yeah, they're very much intertwined. We can learn a lot about just cognition in general through music, but also why not just use it as a mood enhancer?
Right. It can just be for joy, too. Thank you so much. What an interesting conversation. If you are interested in booking a session with Dr. Katie Stewart, we will have that information for you on our website, kdka.com/talkpittsburgh. Still to come on the show, KDKA anchor Christine Sorensen is standing by in the newsroom with the stories you don't want to miss tonight on the KDKA Evening News. Taking a moment right now to find out what you can expect to see on KDKA TV News tonight at 4, 5, and 6. Christine Sorensen is in our newsroom with some of the stories the news team is working on. Hi, Christine.
Hey, Heather. Yeah, here are some of the stories we're working on. First of all, more trouble for that now former dean of Pittsburgh's Trinity Episcopal Cathedral. What church leaders have just revealed about other alleged crimes he may have committed before he was recently charged with stealing from a local Walmart. Also, a terrifying story about a local girl who was nearly killed while vacationing at a resort in Mexico in the baby pool. And it wasn't a near drowning. Her parents are sharing what happened to her as a warning to all other parents, what they say parents need to know and look out for when it comes to pool filters. And the lineup is out for the new concert venue in the Hill District, and there are some pretty big names on it. We're going to run down the list of acts coming to the inaugural season this fall and winter at the Citizens Live at the Wiley. So we've got that and a whole lot more coming up.
All right, Christine, I know you got more info. What can you tell us about that lineup?
I know. It looks so much fun. A lot of great acts, including internationally known groups and performers. The season actually kicks off in early October with Pittsburgh's own Wiz Khalifa.
Wow.
That's the only hint I'm going to give you now. You got to stay tuned to find out the rest.
As a true Pittsburgher, are you also thinking, where am I going to park? That was the first thing I thought, what's the parking situation going to be like up there?
Yeah, I'm hoping that we will find out, because definitely that could be an issue. But I'm hoping that since it's a new venue, you know, it'll all be wrapped up and included.
That's right. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Christine.
Thanks.
Still to come on Talk Pittsburgh, we are wrapping things up with another quick look at your forecast and also chatting about what's on tomorrow's show. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Well, not only is today a first alert weather day, we have some winds continuing, but tomorrow morning, we're going in first alert weather mode because of some icy conditions. Now, we'll have some scattered snow showers. The problem is our temperatures are not getting above the freezing mark. So something to keep in mind, there may be some 2-hour delays tomorrow. So scattered snow showers will also have a little bit of that accumulation from this evening snow showers, especially those Laurel Highlands and ridges that are under that winter weather advisory starting at 5 o'clock tonight, going until 5 o'clock tomorrow. But, you know, it's back to winter tomorrow. And normally our high temperature should be at 49 and our low should be at 30. We're not even making it to our normal low for our high tomorrow. You mentioned a little bit of hope, so tell us it's coming. A little bit of hope. Yeah, our high temperatures actually are getting back to the upper 50s and 60s. So this is for the weekend. Obviously, it can change by a few degrees, but just the outlook from Thursday through Sunday, we're back to the 50s. So let's go. Okay. All right. We're very excited for that. We'll take it. All right. We want to give you one last look at our Talk Pittsburgh PTL Wing-A-Ding bracket, the Saucy 16 now live. We have Goated Wings versus Wings, Suds, and Spuds, the Barn and Barrel versus Mulligan's Sports Bar and Grill, Dale's Place versus Dino's Sports Lounge, and Inferno Pizza versus Big Shot Bob's House of Wings. And here's a look at the full bracket as we, there you go, show you the PTL side. So who's going to make it to the next round? We have a brand new post on Facebook. I've already seen people asking, how can they weigh in? How can they vote on who advances? You just have to put the name down for that. On the 8 restaurants that will move forward, we're calling it the 8 the Whole Plate 8. So get your votes in by Friday. Just comment on that Facebook post. The next announcement is Monday, March 23rd. Coming up tomorrow on Talk Pittsburgh, who needs a pot of gold when you've got Irish soda bread made with pro-level secrets? Learn how you can bake your way to a tasty treasure this St. Patrick's Day. And the sun's brief appearance last weekend is getting me in the mood for spring flowers. But wait, don't dig too early. Tomorrow, an expert from Arona Road Greenhouse has your step-by-step plan for spring gardening and why you should start with your front porch.